I like to say that celebrating families came from a mother's heart. And a mother named Rosemary Tish, who had gone through her own recovery from alcohol use disorder. And although she really found her recovery through treatment, her children and her family didn't get that same support. And so she was really on a mission after that to write a program that was inclusive of children and the whole family, to ensure that long-term recovery and healing was possible for the whole family, not just the parent who went to treatment. And so after writing a number of different things and asked by Judge Len Edwards of a treatment court, that's where it all started in California. That might be too much.
Can you speak to what is unique about celebrating families from other family reunification programs?
Yeah. So we hear this time and time and time again that celebrating families is unique because it includes every member of the family, and families decide who they are. So it might be a daughter and her children with grandma. It might be friends. It might be partners. It might just be a single dad and his children. But there is programming and grouping for every single member of the family so that they're all learning the same healthy living skills, but getting their own space and attention to do their own healing. Because we know that when something's going on in a family, trauma, mental illness, substance use disorders, it impacts everyone. And so many models are really just focused on whoever it is that's having the challenge and not all the loved ones around them who not only were part of the trauma of it, but are such an integral part of the healing.
Awesome, very well said. Can you talk a bit about the theory that kind of contributed to how Celebrating Families was written? So if we're thinking about the viewer watching this, what do we want to convey to them? This was developed using this theory, it's rooted in these principles, these are timeless, these reach all communities. This is something that a county office is going to understand and know and connect with.
So what is, people will tell you, magical about celebrating families, that while it's rooted in research and in evidence-informed practices for over 20 years, that since it's been in practice, it also just came from families. So while there's all that sort of educational, psychological background, it really also came from families who were in early recovery. It came from child development specialists and teachers and people in county mental health systems and in court systems, all coming around the table to say, what does this program need to kind of check all the boxes? That families get what they need, that social services and court systems get what they need to be able to legally and ethically reunify families. But it brings all that together with love, with trusting families. There was a judge I talked to one time on the phone, and he was telling me about the magic of celebrating families in his court. And he talked about a mom that came in and was talking with him and said, everywhere else I go, I'm a case number. I walk into your courtroom and you see me as the mom who got charged with neglect or abuse. When I go to my AA meetings, I'm seen as the addict who's walking in the room. When I go to celebrating families, I'm just a mom and I get to be there with my kids. And even though it has to do with my case plan, that's not who they see me as. And that, I think, sums up the magic of celebrating families.
This is going to be fast. Okay. Can you speak a little bit about the unique experience of children living with a parent or loved one struggling with a substance use disorder? I just want to ensure that we really touch on that unique experience.
Yeah. Well, all of us were children once, and all of us probably can remember a time when we were in our room feeling scared or feeling like we had no one to talk to about our feelings. And for a child who's in a home where substance use disorder is active, things are unpredictable. Things are, parents they love their children, but the disease is getting them in the way of them being able to connect, of them maybe getting on the floor and playing. Where is mom or dad? I might be worrying about them, because kids know, even though for a long time we thought they didn't, they know. So anxiety, fear, perhaps feelings like why does my family work different than other people's families? So maybe some shame or some, am I lovable? So lots of different feelings can come and experiences can come from children. And so if we just say, congratulations, mom or dad or grandma, you finished your 30, 60, 90-day program. We don't turn around to look at that child who still has that same anxiety, that same fear, that same unknown, and isn't just going to take someone's word for it that, oh, I finished a program, I'm different. That child needs their own healing and to have their own words to describe what they need. And also to just to see that recovery is possible, so that should they ever find themselves challenged by substance use, they know there's a path out, hopefully sooner than their parents did.
Do we need to do that over with that hair? Can you, May, can you look, did you notice her hair was it falling?
I thought it was fine.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
With the fix, do you want to see what the fix looks like? Is that look okay? Okay.
Can you speak to, again, the uniqueness of celebrating families in interrupting that intergenerational trauma, intergenerational struggle with abuse and substance?
Here's what we know. So we knew a ton about ACEs, and now we know a ton about PACEs, protective factors. All of this is just built into the Celebrating Families program. And again, after the 20 years that the program's been around and research has continued to grow, it's fundamentally the same. I need to be able to talk to my feelings about someone. I need space to be able to figure out how we communicate together. I need time with my family members. I need to understand what to do with my feelings, that my feelings are okay, but how I act on them might need some support, right? That I'm not punching someone in the face and punching a pillow. And just that feeling that I matter and that I'm seen and that my voice can be heard. And when families go through Celebrating Families, it's not just watching those children. It's incredible to watch them grow and learn. And the parents are growing and learning, but the parents are also witnessing their children learning skills that they may not have been able to access when they were that young. And so when kids are learning about healthy touch and that their bodies belong to them, and they're singing a song to their parents at the end of the night with words like, don't touch me unless it's comfortable kind of thing, those parents are looking going, man, I wish I had had those words when I was 8 years old. And so grateful that my children have it now.
Can you say celebrating families is interrupting intergenerational trauma?
Celebrating Families is interrupting intergenerational trauma and hopefully intergenerational substance use disorder. We know it's a brain disease that's passed down in families, and yet we know that positive parenting, nurturing parenting can override that genetic disposition. We know all the ingredients, and Celebrating Families has them. I feel like I said that same thing in the last video. Anyway.
Beautiful.
Okay.
But we want to just make sure we're capturing that. Okay. Now we're going to sort of segue into the adaptations.
Yep. Okay. I knew that was missing.
And how adapted programs to really speak to those families.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to jump in with either the process of going through Celebrando, including families in that process, making it language specific, culturally specific. So can you tell us a little bit about Celebrating Families Celebrando?
Yes. So because of the fundamental families coming together and skills, especially the shared family meals, the time with family, the thinking about multi-generations and inviting them to the table, this program so beautifully adapts across so many different cultures. There was a specific project that developed Celebrando Familias, that is the Spanish-speaking version of the program, and very specifically did not just take the text and translate it to Spanish, but involved families and being within the culture and building a team of people, just like we had in the beginning, to adapt the program, not just linguistically, but culturally, to be able to be relevant and powerful with the Hispanic community. Latinx community,
So,
what the fuck should I say? What
Well,
do I
give it
do?
a second, because you know, right?
Yeah,
Give it a second, take a moment.
okay.
Yep.
Take two.
Yep.
On the same thing. I'm
And
good.
then maybe in your mind to think about that, because this is such a powerful clip
Okay.
for a short version as well.
Okay.
So,
Shorten it.
yeah, yeah.
That's all. Yep.
100 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Because of the fundamental, no, we're going to do it again. And take 3. What do I want to say? Because of the, at its core, Celebrating Families is a program that is about families coming together, multi-generations coming together. It has so many factors like family meals and communication and rituals that are really relevant across so many different cultures. Specifically in the Hispanic, Latinx community, building Celebrando Familias and doing that by going into the community, talking with families, not just translating it word for word from English to Spanish, but making sure that it had that cultural adaptation that we've seen be massively successful. Similarly, within the Native American community, in partnership with Wellbriety. So that might look like when I've trained tribal communities, their circle time might include a smudging ceremony or a song or a tale that's been passed down within their culture. And all of that is so easily adapted and changed within the curriculum. So it's really something that we talk about when we train different organizations and sites to do the program. You can really make this relevant for the community that you serve. And the fundamentals don't change, but the way you talk about it or the way you celebrate or the kinds of activities that you do are adaptable. Okay.
Awesome. Was that good for you? Okay. I have been asking everyone, and I don't know if I'm going to close with this. I'm going to see if it sparks anything else.
Okay.
But I've been asking everyone, what is your hope for the future of Celebrating Families? I'm really curious, like, how do we want to see this continue to grow and reach more families? So as a viewer watching this, why is Celebrating Families important?
Well, we see it every time we talk to a family who's graduated. We see it every time that we train a team, because I'll tell you, the training of Celebrating Families and a team implementing it is just as powerful as the families who receive it. So my hope for Celebrating Families is that it continues to spread. It's in 40 states throughout the United States. It's in Canada. It's been to Russia. It's been to Mexico. That it continues to adapt for populations and cultures that need it, and that it becomes easily accessible, and that systems see that this is a very effective and important family program, parenting program, that really should be part of systems nationwide and beyond. Okay. Okay.
Do either of you have additional questions that you feel like?
I would love.
Let me just check my phone because my kid and her bestie are. Sorry. I can.
Yep, I forgot that.
Yep, I did. I just want to make sure they're driving, and I just want to make sure. Please answer. Yeah.
So is that something we include in the video, like explaining who NACOA is?
Yes.
And that Celebrating Families is a part?
Yes, I need to say
what-
that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's, want to capture that first and then get into?
So, yes, because what I'll do is I'll have you explain it, and then I'm gonna have you do something as short as this.
Okay.
After you do, the answer,
Okay.
and then we
Okay.
need something that's super short for it.
Yep.
But, okay.
Can you tell us about NACOA?
So NACOA, the National Association for Children of Addiction, is an advocacy, and I don't know what else they are. I can't tell you about that. They're an advocacy, and what the fuck are they? I'm going to say advocacy and prevention and support
So
organization.
this is what,
Was on their website.
yeah, this is on their website. NACOA is the voice for 1 in 4 children suffering from tragic losses because of disease. One of NACOA's programs, Celebrating Families. I guess that did.
That was exactly from the last video, how it
yeah.
starts.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I can do this again. All right, let me try again.
Okay.
I like what you said there, the prevention.
Like they do prevention and advocacy and programming to support children. Okay,
And Celebrating Families.
is one of their programs.
Because what I'm looking for is like a 5-second intro.
So I'm going to do that one. Okay.
Melissa, tell us about NACOA.
Celebrating Families is a program of the National Association for Children of Addiction, NACOA, who provides prevention and advocacy and support programming for children across the country and beyond.
Okay, you nailed it, but with a happy face at the end.
Oh, you want me to be happy at the end? Yes.
Well, more relaxed, because you said,
I was a little too.
At the end, you went like this.
Okay. Okay. How do you tell us how you really feel?
So what you just said, nailed it.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Melissa, tell us about NACOA.
Celebrating Families is a program of the National Association for Children of Addiction, NACOA. NACOA is an organization that provides prevention and advocacy and support programming for children across the United States and beyond. That was not good.
How you ended yours last time was families across America. Done.
Okay. The reason why I'm like pausing is because there's like international chapters, but we don't need to get into that.
So, perfect. Just.
Yep.
Well, no, okay. And you know what? Let me just make sure it looks okay.
Okay.
Just because I'm looking at it from the side.
Okay.
Oops. Okay.
Melissa, tell us about NACOA.
Celebrating Families is a program of the National Association for Children of Addiction, NACOA, and they provide programming, advocacy, prevention, and support for children of addiction throughout the country.
Love it. Okay.
Nailed it.
Now, there was a really quick,
Okay. Okay.
I'm looking at Lisa.
Except the words, okay. NACOA is the voice for 1 in 4 children suffering tragic losses because of this disease.
You're so good.
I mean, you know, we're going to hire me.
You know, it's just like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I was a theater kid, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, it shows. It paid off, right?
I'm not in Manhattan, but here I am in Morgan Hill, California. Or say what you say.
You nailed it. So,
Yeah.
just trying to think about the thread, right? So I think Ed did a great job of giving us some of that more theoretical context. We've got the story from Shay. And we've got a little bit more history and structure from you and adaptation. I think Nikki's going to nail in all the aspects of this.
So
program and
exciting.
Walk us through what it looks like.
Awesome.
Yay!
Yay. Okay. Sorry that I walked
All the notes of what we got from NACOA.
away with your.
Okay.
And then I have stuff that Melissa brought for
Oh, perfect.
Sacramento.
Thank you.
Puppets and